right, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, we are back. Welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks TV. I'm your host, Tony G. And you guys have seen the thumbnail today. We're going to be talking about something that's very important. Hopefully, this will be an educational piece for people that don't know how tariffs work. But we're going to actually go further than that. We're going to be talking about, we're going to give you a list of all the presidents that did the tariffs before Trump. Trump have gotten the idea, because I do believe he's a history buff as well. But we're going to discuss it today. We're going to also talk about our favorite, or I should say our most hated enemy, the IRS. And we're going to talk about that. In fact, it's going to be the IRS versus the ERS. We're going to talk about the two, as far as what is the difference between the two. One is tariff-based and the other one is tax-based from its citizens. So we're going to go into that. So hopefully you guys are having a great time. See, it's always better when I'm at home, in the home studio versus in the car. Audio is better. We're going to put some, I'm going to share some things with you guys up on the visuals, but hopefully other people start coming into the room. I said I wanted to do this early because I didn't work this morning, but I'm going to work it later on at night. So I said, this works out. Give myself a chance to take care of some things locally and run some errands and things like that. Hopefully everybody is doing pretty well and things. Hopefully. To everybody. And things like that. So yeah. So we're going to be talking about it though. Hopefully everyone had a great weekend. My weekend was really, really good as well. It's uneventful. So we're going to be talking about it, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start going to the tariffs, we're going to talk about the presidents first, kind of give a little history in between the two. So without further delay, if you want to pick up or catch up later. So tariffs, right? So historically, right, it's been preferred source of government revenue for some U.S. presidents, especially before the implementation of taxes going back to 1913. With the 16th Amendment, here are some of the notable examples, is what I'm trying to say, of presidents who relied on tariffs over taxes, generating revenue or to shape the economic policies. Now, this is important, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm building up, it's more for education. Some of you guys may already know. We know, before I go any further, we understand how, let's say that the media, they're not really journalists. They're propaganda machines. And when you hear them, because they work on the behalf, we already know, the deep state. If anybody don't know by now. So the agenda that they're pushing is to, with misinformation, right, and ignorance, they're doing this on purpose because they know that Trump is on the right path when he says about the tariffs and how they work. But with the media particularly, which is not a friend, I would say it ain't just Trump. It's the media have been lying to us, and not only that they have been lying to us, ladies and gentlemen, but they have been caught with lies. This is why you got to fact check everything from them. It's not our friend at all. So I'm here to go over some things of presidents that supported the tariffs and how America was at its golden age then, and we are in the golden age now. So without further delay, let's go ahead and finish up. So as I mentioned, the 16th Amendment. The 16th Amendment was written in to basically, to make a long story short, saying that citizens, right, have to pay taxes, right? Originally, when it started out, they started out with taxes was really designed to go after, the big corporations. That didn't go well. It didn't really work out too well. In fact, with the big banks and so forth, they had enough, or corporations, they had enough lawyers to defend and fight off taxes to that degree. So that didn't work out too well. So the IRS said, you know what? We have another idea. Excuse me. We'll go after the actual citizens, which is us common folk. We'll just end up taxing them. And we really was supposed to be a temporary thing, just like they said with Homeland Security. Excuse me. Just like with Homeland Security, everything, ladies and gentlemen, always start off temporary. But tell me why they stick around and stay around like bad luggage. And this is pretty much what ended up happening. So I'm gonna share with you some of the notable examples of presidents who relied on tariffs over taxes, right? So let's get to it. George Washington, you know him. One who says, I cut down the cherry tree, I cannot tell a lie, right? This guy, right? The father of America, practically, the first president, right? Sitting president from 1789 to 1797. George Washington was the key tariff legislation. It was called the Tariff Act of 1789. I want you guys, when you get a chance, you can go ahead and Google this information. This is well-documented information, right? So George Washington, right? He had administration relied heavily on tariffs as a primary source of federal revenue to fund the government and to pay off the Revolutionary Debt War. Now think about this, ladies and gentlemen, because we know that war costs money. So George Washington said, well, we have to pay off the bank, basically, because we're talking about the Revolutionary War. It was after we as Americans won back then. It wasn't really too well, but it was still a debt going back to England, right? Same thing now. You heard Trump say we can pay off the private bank, which is the Federal Reserve, right? Now, with the Federal Reserve, they don't want Trump. They don't want him to set this up. They don't want him. They want it to stay the way it is, because the more that government in Congress, because right now it's government spending, the more they spend, the more they borrow. So they have to borrow from the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve just printing money out of nothing. There's no gold backed by it. So therefore, which is not inflation, but it's actually an interest, right? There's interest that every time the government borrows money from the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve is a private bank. So each and every time there's interest attached to it. This explains why we're in trillions of dollars of debt. And they want to keep this thing going forever, right? This was never meant, to stop, but they want this thing to go forever. Omega, what's going on with you, man? Yeah, Omega. Yeah, time for Europe to pay up. I know. Omega says they want us to pay. They should pay too. Exactly. Omega says nothing is more permanent than the temporary government implement. Yeah, it's true. And really what he's saying, because of the UK, I'm sorry, not the UK, but the European Union. And you heard Trump mention that the European Union itself, we've been carrying the European Union for a very, very long time. We've been a doormat. Excuse me. They have a very they have what is it? They don't respect us a whole lot, is what I'm trying to say with the European Union. In fact, it's the opposite. We're like a butt in a joke for us with the, for instance, France and these other countries. We always been like a joke. They don't like Americans at all. And they think that they're better than us too. But when Trump said that we will not be treated as a doormat no more, we will be number one, independent manufacturing, as well as we will be independently producing of our own energy sources. America is back, ladies and gentlemen. So this is stuff that Omega is referring to about the European Union, So because we don't need them, but they are going to pay up. And we're going to hit them with the higher tariffs. And so far, you hear Trump right now, and you're seeing the tariffs and how they work, right? The tariffs right now can also be used for negotiating purposes as well. So even with Colombia started bringing up a resistance, but that was short-lived because, again, the biggest supporter of Colombia, who supports Colombia? America. When you look at when you go south of America and so forth, who support them? America does, right? Just like with Europe, who support China too? If we were to cut China off right now, because we're going to get to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where we're going to be self-producing everything in-house here. China, I don't know if China is going to be able to withstand. They rely on the United States. China is not liking the direction where America is going underneath it all. You know what I'm saying? Because we are China's biggest consumer. Because we know that the previous presidents in the past, they sold America out for practically very cheap. So by doing this, what did they do? They turned us into a service industry. And the reason that they did this too, because of the economical system that they set up here in America, because really this Ponzi scheme wasn't supposed to last this long. But this is why with Clinton and all them, they in order to keep the Ponzi scheme up, they had to outsource the businesses because they know they couldn't afford to pay the Americans. As stuff started going up, the corporations say, you know what, we got to outsource and cheaper labor and just turn America into a service industry. And that's pretty much what they did in a nutshell. That's exactly what they did. This is why we're in this space right now. However, just kind of going over some things. So George Washington was the first tariff president. I'm going to start calling them tariff presidents. Dress them properly, right? Thomas Jefferson, you guys know him. He was the second president of the United States from 1801 to 1809. Policies focused pretty much on Jefferson's prioritize reducing federal debt as well as cutting taxes. During his presidency, the federal government was funded almost entirely by tariffs. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Funded entirely by tariffs and sales of public lands he opposed during his presidency, right? The federal government was funded almost entirely by tariffs. The sales of public lands, as I mentioned that already, direct tax and sought to keep the government financially small. Now, this is another importance. They always knew how to keep the government small. You can't have big government doing what we're doing. You got to have small government. What did Trump say with the Doge and all that? I think it was Elon Musk that said this. He said that he wants to eliminate 80% of government. So by 80%, we're talking like 20%. And get rid of all these regulations. We'll go to deregulating, we need to get the government as much out of our business as we possibly can, because it has morphed into not a boogie monster, but an actual monster. That little octopus I used to show, that's exactly what we have morphed into. In fact, I can show that again, just to kind of get some visuals. I've showed this image before in the past, but why not? I can go ahead and pull this up. And therefore, let me see here. Nope, let me just do this here. Just give me one moment. For a minute. Let's do this here. I'm going to share the image, not the screen, but let's do this here. Not video files. Hold on for a minute. One moment. I just want to share this. Oh, yeah, this PDFs. Here we go. So I'm going to show this monster image right here, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. This is what we're up against. You know what I'm saying? We're up against this thing here, which is back in the, 1913? They called it the National Reserve Association, but today it's called the Federal Reserve Bank. This is what we're up against right here, ladies and gentlemen. I figured the visuals would be a lot more for what I'm talking about. They're for people that don't know and how the system works. I'm trying to do it with a little bit more, instead of being super boring. I got to put some personality into it, because this type of stuff though, but just kind of give me a little education. So this is what Thomas Jefferson understood, just like George Washington. Now, there was another president by the name of Andrew Jackson. He was the one as well, right, from 1829 to 1837. Andrew Jackson, his key tariff legislation, right, supported the tariff of 1828, which is the tariff abomination, right? And it comprised of tariffs of 1833. Jackson used tariffs as a means of revenue, just like the other presidents, right? It was a tool to protect American industries, right? However, it supported the tariffs led to conflict with southern states, particularly during the nullification crisis, right? So here it is. Excuse me. This is Andrew Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. He was another one. All the presidents that you're going to learn today, for some of you guys may know some of them, but when I'm done, these are all the presidents that did the tariff, just like what Trump is doing right now. And that's why I say it's good to kind of walk people down, find out where people are or not, in regards to truly how tariffs work, and then we'll walk it down, right? So let me see here, and let's go ahead and go with the next one. So that was with Andrew Jackson. In fact, Trump has a picture of Andrew Jackson hanging up in the wall. Now, they did an attempt assassination on Andrew Jackson. They weren't successful in killing him, but we can understand why some of our presidents have been assassinated, murdered, because once again, the deep state, and they were dealing with the deep state in their time, they do not want America to be free of debt. Their mission is to take out any competition and to keep the people in debt forever. This is what it's all about. So anybody that's against tariffs, this is another thing why we never learned about these particular presidents. We learned about them, but you never really heard about tariffs. They made sure they kept that away after 1913. So it was definitely a move to dumb down the masses of people and things like that. We heard of tariffs, but not in this way. So this is talking about Andrew Jackson. Another one, number 4, James K. Polk. He was another president after Jackson, 1845 to 1849. So the key tariff legislation, Walker Tariff of 1846. Polk, right, administration significantly reduced tariff rates compared to the earlier protectionist policies, favoring revenue over protectionism. This reflected his border support, right, for free trade principles, right? So this is another one here, right? So Abraham Lincoln, he's the next one, right? This is the 5th one, from 1861 to 1865. This is where it was right on the cut when he was around, became president. And then we had the Reconstruction period of 1863 to 1877. The key tariff legislations, which is they call it a Morrill Tariff of 1861. Same thing though, same stuff like the previous presidents. Lincoln's administration increased tariffs significantly, right, during the Civil War to fund the war, right? The efforts was to protect the northern industries, right? This reliance, on tariffs was critical before the introduction of income taxes during the war. So here we are, the 5th president, Abraham Lincoln, when it comes down to the tariffs. These are all only presidents that I'm talking about here that all sponsored and supported tariffs, because there was a war, right, which is the Civil War, right? And we know with the Civil War costs what? Money, right? Here's another one here. William McKinley, Remember Mount McKinley before they called it? Obama changed it to Mount Denali? Remember? So why did so here's a question for you guys, right? And you should know by now because we already let the cat out the bag. But Obama changed it from Mount McKinley to Mount Denali. Was it something that Obama didn't like about William McKinley? He know the history. He didn't want anybody. He said, "No, we're going to take this down. We need to change the name." He changed it to Mount Denali. Now, President Trump knew about McKinley, right? You know the history, William McKinley. So what did Trump do? He said that he went on ahead and changed it back, wrote an executive order, I do believe, to change it back to Mount McKinley, 1897 to 1901. This is when he was around. The key efforts, right? Key tariff legislations, McKinley, the tariffs of 1890, right? As a congressman, right? McKinley, both as a congressman and later as a president, was strong advocate for high protective tariffs to shield America's industry from foreign competition. His policies were central to the vision of the economic growth. This is why Trump hold up McKinley very high as well, right? Only thing about McKinley, though, he was assassinated. Gee, I wonder why. Just like Abraham Lincoln. So if we look at it, and then you have, what is another one? It was an assassination attempt on his life, was Andrew Jackson. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are connecting in dots. Look at what is going on, right? It's a major thing. John, what's going on with you, man? Got to give a shout out to John. You know how I do it now that I'm at home, ladies and gentlemen. In my home studio, you already know how I do it. I got to get a shout out properly. We got one for John in the house as well as for Omega. Got to do it properly. You know what I'm saying? For you guys, man, welcome to the channel, man. Good to hear from you guys, or see you guys again. I haven't heard from Sherry yet, but Sherry gonna still get her heart, whether she's listening or not. She could be a listening ninja too. And stuff as John said, this is their time when they're very, very, very busy right now with the farming and stuff like that, winter and all that. So where was I? You already know I'm talking about this topic. I said, you know what? I wanted to do this topic before I do the presidents that were on the take, because I felt the need of talking about this today, talking about presidents that supported the tariffs and things like that, kind of give an education for people that don't know. But yeah, William McKinley, yeah, he was another great president. Calvin Coolidge, right? 1923 to 1929, you know, Calvin Coolidge. He's also key tariff legislation, right? The Fortney, McCumber tariffs, they all got names, by the way, of 1922. Coolidge inherited and supported high tariffs to support America's industry and agriculture. His administration avoided new taxes, relying on economic growth and tariffs revenues instead. So he was another one. Now we got to keep in mind with the dates, ladies and gentlemen. Calvin Coolidge was still pushing for tariffs. Now, the central bank, which is the Federal Reserve, was already created in 1913. Calvin Coolidge came around in 1923 to 1929. So they were already on the process, because they already implemented the Federal Reserve, which is, they wrote in the 16th Amendment when they told Americans that they have to pay taxes, because this was all new. But since the institution was already built and they were pushing it on to the people and things like that, so this is what ended up happening. But we're only dealing with the presidents right now. I don't want to get too far ahead, but we're talking about the presidents once again for people that may be coming into the room. We're talking about all the presidents who supported the tariffs, the stuff that you hear Trump talk about a lot, things that actually work, right? Especially in the favor of our country, industry, agriculture, and things. So this is what pays debt down. This is what pays debt off, right? So who else? Herbert Hoover, 1929 to 1933, key tariff legislation, right? The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. Hoover signed the Smoot-Hawley Tariff, which imposed some of the highest tariff rates in the U.S. history while intending to protect domestic industries during the Great Depression. It is widely criticized for exuberating global economic conditions. And I'm going to go back again where it says he imposed some of the highest tariff rates in U.S. history. Because we had a thing, this is right around the time with the Great Depression. I think it was in 1928 stock market crash and so forth, right? Yeah. And what else ended up happening? Well, after that, 1934, right? Here's another one. It was called the Gold Act in 1931. So this is when America got taken over by the Western Central Bank that we call the Federal Reserve, but they were still calling it under a different name. They were calling it the National Reserve Association. So their plan was, okay, now that we have control of the monetary banking in America, now we can go in here and take the money. We can take the America's wealth, which is their gold and silver, out the banks. And then they also told people they had to turn over their gold and silver. Can you imagine, though, the government telling you that you guys got to turn over your gold and silver? And that's what ended up happening. This is what ended up happening, ladies and gentlemen, you know. But going back on the tariffs, right? So why tariffs over tax? Well, again, to establish of the federal income tax, tariffs were primarily the source of the federal revenue. Because keep in mind, when you had tariffs going on, when you had countries outside of the U.S. that want their products in America, they had to pay the tariff tax. And with so much money coming in from these other countries in the world, there was no need to pay income taxes. You know what I'm saying? We had, in the 1900s especially, we had a golden age. They allowed the government to operate without direct taxation of its citizens, and were politically easier to implement. It really was, you know. So this is basically what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We had small government back then. They promoted economic protectionism, right? Reduction reliant on other taxes, or maintain small government. Once again, this is the earmark of success. This is what Donald J. Trump is exactly. The mission is to duplicate what we had in the past. He said, I'm pulling the power, or taking away the power from the government and giving it back to the people. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. And this is exactly what it is. And I want younger people, and it's hard to really reach them because I got to do some stuff on TikTok, you know, I got to go there. That's where a lot of them are, because they don't really mess with YouTube very much. They're on TikTok, which is okay because I can do shorts on this type of stuff that I'm talking about. I have to break some stuff down, put music behind it, and make it a little more entertaining. Because they're not, as you guys already know, man, Omega, John, you guys especially, you already know. They don't like stuff like this because they consider it boring. And I know when I was their age, I wasn't interested in politics. But this stuff is important, though, because we have to make sure that the future generations understand if they can keep freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, if they can keep it, because if not, we'll go right back all this hard work. Because as I always said, this evil never sleeps, and they're patient. Even though right now they're losing, but they're patient. They are very, very patient. They'll wait for the opportunity again, where people will start getting comfortable, relax, just like they did before. And this is why this stuff should be talked about every day, all day. All this other stuff, because what's the point? If you don't know this stuff, you won't have a country, guaranteed. You won't have a country if you don't know this stuff. It's better to know this stuff, because this stuff would keep and teach and also keep us having a country. This is the greatest country on the earth. There's no other country out here that's like this. Everybody else pretty much have fallen to taxation, big government, centralized government, regulations, can't have a weapon, can't say this, woke agenda, all this other kind of stuff, transgender stuff, rearing its head everywhere. It's horrible, man. They got more rights than straight people do, especially heterosexual men. So we were on the verge of falling under that same situation. But we had a revolution here, and we stopped it for right now. But it's our mission, our job to keep it, ladies and gentlemen. So this is why I do stuff a little bit different on my lives, especially talk about stuff that, because I really like to see other people talk about this stuff. We talking about so much of what Trump doing and executive orders. That's cool, but you got to go back in the history, because a lot of people didn't know that about tariffs. They only hearing it from Michael Bloomberg and all this stuff. Oh, yes, man, you don't put the tariffs out there. Oh my gosh, the rate's gonna be raised up. It's gonna be pushing things. It's gonna be devastating. They do that on purpose to get you guys panicked out. You know what I'm saying? They're doing this on purpose. Oh, Mr. Trump is making a mistake. Oh my gosh. Because they know the average person don't know this stuff. They don't know who McKinley is. They don't know all these people. You know what I'm saying? They don't teach this stuff. And they were about to write McKinley right off the map when Obama on that Mount McKinley turned into Mount Denali under Obama. Obama did not want people to know the history of this country. He said, we got to change the name to remove the heroes of America off the face of the map. So therefore, the Americans don't know who their heroes are, that really these were the real heroes, the people I named. And some of them were killed, murdered, assassinated. Some of them survived, like Andrew Jackson, right? He survived, right? But some of them didn't make it. So yeah, just kind of want to put that out there in regards to that. So yeah, let's go ahead and go further on, ladies and gentlemen, though. So talked about that. And so far, you guys all right? Yep, I know you are, Mega, John. I know you guys are okay. I know Sherry may be listening as a listening ninja. It's all good. So yeah, let's go ahead and go further on, though. So we're going to go ahead and talk about it. So in January 2025, President Donald J. Trump announced plans to establish the External Revenue Service, which is better known as the acronym ERS. I love that too, man. Trump is just an excellent marketer, isn't he? I mean, it's just all common sense. Everything is common sense, not confusing. You can remember this for eons, ERS. A purpose, in other words, a proposed federal agency intended to collect tariffs, right, duties, and other revenue from foreign sources. This initiative aligns with his America First trade policy, emphasizing the imposition of tariffs on imports to generate revenue and to protect domestic industries. Plain and simple. This is exactly what Trump is doing. He's doing what the founder and fathers have done in the past in this country. The pathway of success. Straight like that. Yeah, let me see here. Is a gamer. It's a new one here on Twitch. Okay, Gamer JM. Yeah, he says capitalism want you to believe that you are in competition with immigration for limited resources, but at the same time, billionaires hoarding trillions of dollars worth of resources doesn't harm you at all, because it's not a zero sum game. Something doesn't add up. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, gamer. Capitalism itself is not necessarily a bad thing, because what's the problem with capitalism now? Because what you got to keep looking at. Remember when I don't know how long you was here though, gamer J, but here's the thing about it, man. We had a thing called tariffs, and with the tariffs, we were getting money from other nations in the world when they want to bring their products, ship their products here in America, right? So we had manufacturing, we had oil, we had other commodities. The money was flooding in. So that means that Americans didn't have to pay taxes. We didn't have inflation, and things were we had more buying power with gold and silver. And this is why women didn't have to work. People were okay with capitalism. It's there for anybody that wants to if you want to go into business and get rich, this would be the country right now. And this is the opportunity right now to do so. But you are correct in regards to the old system, because the old system is ciphered. The taxes was being ciphered from us as the citizens. It was appeared to be very difficult because you had to know a lot of tax laws, debt and taxes and all this other stuff to work a way around it in order to become a millionaire and get rich. For those that were able to achieve it. But right now, we're going to be on the brink of, if you want to go into business, you can be able to do it. This is the time. If you want to be rich, you can do it without any of these regulations of government. As I went over that before, it has to be a small government, Gamer J. It can't be a big government. That's why Trump said he's reducing it down to 20% government. 80% is going to be gone. Along with the Federal Reserve, gone. IRS, gone. See what I'm saying? So the stuff that you're talking about, I get it. But there's a flip side to it, because the people of old, they weren't dealing with the stuff that we're dealing with right now. They had a way better quality of life, and they were okay just going to work. Whether it was a manufacturing job or whatever it was, they didn't have to pay taxes. They didn't always have the government with their hand out all the time and a whole bunch of regulations. You can actually own land and never have to pay taxes on the land. This is what we call the golden age. There was no need for it. You know what I'm saying? But I hear what you're saying. I appreciate you making a comment, though. But you're talking about the old oligarch system. We're in the golden age now. We're in a whole different system. And this is why people like Trump, Elon Musk, people like that and that caliber and many others. I mean, he has a rock solid cabinet that's implementing policies and things like this in the right direction. Because we've been going in the wrong direction for a very long time. So therefore, I see us now where we will be able to have the buying power, or to be able to work where, if you're married, she don't even have to work. She can be like, leave it to Beaver days or before that, 1940s, they didn't go out. The women really didn't go out here and have to work, taking 2 or 3 incomes, 2 jobs, trying to make it, right? 3 jobs trying to make it like we're doing now. Something is wrong with the way the current system is. It wasn't meant to be this way. We all been tricked in America. Our ancestors have been tricked since 1913. It's a hijacking. We've been tricked. We've been duped. Because the people in the past didn't have a problem with capitalism. They didn't have a problem with big greed and all that, because the money, we wasn't being taxed on it. The money that you make, the money you make. And you had real gold and silver that backed it up. There was a time when you can go into a bank And if you wanted to not have the dollars, you can actually pull the gold and silver coins out the bank. The bank today don't hold gold and silver in there like that. You know what I'm saying? So something is wrong, ladies and gentlemen. But then go ahead and go further on. Okay. So, talked about President Trump announcing the ERS, which is the External Revenue Service, right? So the ERS is envisioned to function separately from the Internal Revenue Service. Because before I go any further, let's keep in mind, he already announced that. Remember when Biden, back in 2022, where he said he was going to hire, 87,000 new IRS agents? Trump said that he's going to remove the 87,000 or 88,000 IRS agents. We're going to send them pretty much bye-bye, not in the pursuit of hunting down citizens for taxes. They're going to be doing other things, but not that. Which means, right, which manage domestic tax collections, right? By focusing on external revenue streams, the ERS aims to reduce the tax burden on American citizens and shift its foreign entitles, right? Benefiting from trade with the United States. I love the fact which, man, Trump, man, that's why I say the greatest president we ever had in our lifetime. Reduce the tax burden, right, on American citizens. This is major. This is major, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe this is sourced under Axios. If you guys, I don't follow Axios, but I had to do some research. This is coming from Axios right here. Let me see here. So, however, the proposal has sparked significant debates, right? This is where the critics argue, right? It said the president lacks the constitutional authority, right? Right? This is what they're saying. They're saying that he lacks the constitutional authority, right? Creating a new federal agency without congressional approval, right? Now, what I find is very funny, ladies and gentlemen, and I really got to laugh at this, all right? But before I do, let me see what John has to say. John says, up till 1971, you can sell the gold at some banks, right? Okay, thank you, John. Yeah, you can sell the gold. Yeah, that's right. You're talking about the Nixon when he pulled us off the gold standard up to 1971. Thanks, John. Thanks for that correction. I appreciate you. That's why it's good to have other people that know history, right? I mean, I'm a history buff, but I ain't perfect all the time. But thanks, John, man. So yeah, so right there, as I was mentioning earlier, right? So we're talking about, this is what the critics are saying. They're saying that the federal agency that Trump created is congressional unapproved, meaning that it didn't go through Congress. But if you think about the history of the IRS never went through Congress either. It was an organization that was put together privately by international banksters, right? The Western Central Bank, which is called the Federal Reserve. It never passed through Congress. It's not constitutional at all. It is a private entity. So Trump saying, you know what? You guys can do that. Just give me the grounds on I can do this. And he actually have done it. So is Trump wrong or is he right? Is Trump wrong or is he right? Because if the Federal Reserve Bank didn't pass through Congress, which it didn't, we're talking about 1913, but Trump created ERS January 2025, an executive order, just like with Doge. That was another one. Didn't need Congress because Federal Reserve didn't need Congress. Now I want you guys to look at this photo that I have here. This is our enemy to America. This right here is unconstitutional. This never passed through Congress. This is why our congressmen, majority of them are bought. This is where your lobbyists come from. This is the beast right here, not Donald Trump. This is our enemy. They call it the National Reserve Association originally, but ideally it's nothing more than the Federal Reserve Bank, which have always been a private entity. It prints money, and there's no gold, no silver, it just prints money. When you're doing this, it causes a problem. Because if there's not enough gold and silver to keep inflation, this is why we are pretty much in a hyperinflation where we're on our way to. I believe we already are. It's just that the left that was in control, they don't want this real facts out. They want to say everything is fine, everything is okay, when we're well over 50% inflation, but they say everything is fine. Don't worry about that. This is not true. It is true. That's why, because if it wasn't true, why did they outsource the jobs? They had to outsource the jobs because they couldn't pay the Americans the same wage and prices, because once again, they created this monster which causes inflation, right? Government spending and the Federal Reserve. This is where we at here today. This ain't complicated stuff. This is just simple stuff when you really think about it. It has to be at a common sense level. No big words, none of all this other stuff to throw people off and to confuse them. This is what it is in a nutshell. And I'm not even an economic major. I'm not. But I understand enough how the fictitious system is working and why we are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. The money is shrinking. Everybody in America knows something isn't right. But tell me why you have was it Biden and his administration said everything is fine, Korean stuff. The economy is just doing great. If you are over $1 million plus, like these Hollywood elites and so forth, once again, fine. What's the depth to who? George Clooney, he's fine. I mean, we gonna name the list of people. They're fine. Politicians, Nancy Pelosi, all of them fine. The economy is great. Oh, we're doing wonderful, swell. No problem at all. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on who are we talking about here. Are we talking about the average citizen, or where are we talking about, people of a higher caliber? So I find that to be really rich. Because like I said before, the liberal media have been lying for many years. So this is where we are right here. So let's go ahead and go further on, right? So, and this is coming from Kiplinger.com, where you can read up on this stuff and go further. As of now, the establishment of the ERS remains, right? A proposal with this implementation, right, contingent upon legislative processes and future deliberations. Trump announced of the creation of the External Revenue Service. The External Revenue Service, as I mentioned before, is his envision by Donald Trump differs from the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, which we all love and know, right? That's a joke, right? Yeah, the Internal Revenue Service. Just think about that, ladies and gentlemen. The Internal Revenue Service. This is why we're in a situation right now. And like I said before, we're gonna get down to it. This is what we're dealing with. Okay, so the IRS in its approach to collecting government revenue. Here's a breakdown of the potential benefits of the ERS versus the IRS. Now we're going to do a comparison side by side with both entities and things, which is true. Both of them have not gone through Congress, but one is evil, one is good. Focus on the external revenue sources. The ERS focuses on collecting tariffs, duties, and trade-related revenue from foreign sources. This aligns with a goal of shifting the tax burden away from the American citizens to foreign entitles and benefits from trade. The IRS, it collects, right? So what that does is that it collects domestic taxes, including income tax, corporate tax, payroll tax, directly from the U.S. individual and the businesses. This is exactly true. We all know this, right? The benefit of the ERS could reduce the reliance on domestic taxation, right? Potentially allowing for lower personal and corporate taxes. Because I do believe it's going to be when we get to the point being lowered right now to not having them at all. Because the tariffs are going to take care of everything else. Number two, the economic protectionism. The ERS encourages domestic production by imposing tariffs on imported goods, making them more expensive and less competitive compared to the U.S. made products, right? The IRS does not directly influence trade policies or economic protectionism. It doesn't, because all they got to do is just rely on the taxes from the citizens. And then who takes the money that we're paying on the taxes? Goes to a private bank, and then it goes to the people that belong to the private club. That's what Gus called it, the international banker. Benefits, right? The benefit. The ERS could protect America's industries and jobs by discouraging imports and promoting local manufacturing. There that is, man. Boom. If I had an explosion bomb, I would let it off right now. That's it in a nutshell right there. Let me say it again. The benefit of the ERS could protect American industries and jobs by discouraging imports and promoting local manufacturing. This is exactly what Trump said he wanted to do, because he said that we have to be self-producing here in America. Thus, this is why he says America first, building America first. We have all of the resources here in America where we don't even need. We don't have to need these other countries in order for America to survive. We have been tricked by the Uniparty before Trump. The Rhino Republicans and the low-down left lunatic Democrats have set us up to fail, and they've done this over time. Just as it took time to build and to get where we are today, it's going to take time to unravel it. But I believe that Trump will be able to do it in lightning speed, because he's already implementing tariffs. The money is going to be coming in. If they want to play with America, you got to pay America. Let me say that again. If you want to play with America, Canada, if you want to play with America, Mexico, if you want to play with America, Colombia, and all the rest of you, the European Union, you want to play with America, you better pay America. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I should be working for Trump, man. I can have a shirt on that, man. Boy, I have to toot myself on the back. Boy, give my applause, man. Ooh, give me an applause, man. Boy, that's brilliant. That's brilliant right there, man. You want to play with America, you got to pay America, man. And that's exactly what it is, man. Pay to play. You know, you got to pay, you know. So that's exactly what it is. So these countries right now, they're not liking Trump at all. They said, well, wait a moment, because they gotten by for so long. Canada too. Anytime we ship products to Canada, they don't pay no tariffs. I mean, we ship all over there. We pay them, but we don't charge them for shipping products from Canada back here in America. Little, none at all. None at all. A lot of these countries don't pay tariffs back to America. India was hitting us up 100% before. Trump stopped that. When he started, Trump said, okay, he don't want to budge. What did he do to the prime minister over there? He said, we're going to charge, they're going to charge America 100% tariff tax. We're going to charge India 100% tariff tax. Well, you cannot do that. Yeah, you can. He can do it. Yeah, he can do it, ladies and gentlemen. So this is really going on right now. This is the thing. Simplified tax structure for individuals. The IRS, the ERS, by prioritizing external revenue through tariffs, the ERS could reduce the complexity of domestic tax codes, right, and compliance requirements for individuals and business. Man, that is a beautiful thing. Taking all of the complications and less lawyers. I'm sure right now the lawyers are not liking this. I'm sure. Yeah. Excuse me, y'all. Oh man. They are not liking this at all, man. And then also, man, not just with that, ladies and gentlemen, they're not liking it. And let me tell you who else isn't liking it, right? And besides that, accountants, right? They're not liking it at all, man. The IRS requires individuals and businesses to navigate through complex tax codes. This is where the lawyers and tax accountants, this is where they come in, right? Because they know how to read the tax code, file annual returns, and face audits. The benefit, a shift to revenue, right, from tariffs could simplify tax filing for individuals, possibly eliminating the need for many Americans to pay income taxes. Bam! Boy, I tell you, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm more interested with taxes now as opposed to before. I love hearing when Trump with the stroke of the pen with the ERS, man. I just love it, man. Before, we didn't like it when it was the IRS, you start cussing, man. You get stressed out every time you see the IRS, So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just walking it down. It would be nice if the so-called propaganda news wasn't so propaganda, because they should be talking about this stuff, praising Trump, but they won't do it. The View and all of them, they're all part of the establishment, obviously. It's like, I got to do their job. If they did the job like this, I wouldn't have a job, right? Or maybe so, it depends. All right, number 4, reduce taxpayer burden. Man, I love that, man. You cannot be burdened for being, what she say? What Kamala Harris said, burdened for being burdened within, something like that. But here it is, joking aside, the ERS shifts a portion of revenue generation to foreign entities, right? And importers, right? The IRS relies on primarily on U.S. taxpayers, which is true for revenue, which can be burdensome for low mid-income households. Benefit, once again, the ERS base revenue generations might reduce the financial burden on American taxpayers, particularly the middle and low income groups. That's who's going to benefit from it the most, is middle and low income. You know, I don't know about, well, low income they could, but see, the problem right now is people that are on welfare. I had this conversation with my brother earlier, and the problem is with this is simply this. Like a lot of us, we pay into the taxes, right? Back in those days, man, I used to owe the tax paying the IRS. I hated paying the IRS, just like many of you. I hated paying the IRS. But when you're on like low income, welfare and all that, I know people have problems or whatever like that, right? But when you don't pay into the system, and it's like, well, they get the taxes. So a portion of the taxes we pay is allocated towards them to carry people in society that's not pulling their weight. Thus, this is why you have like people that pay taxes, to be said, a lot of them have a Republican mindset versus people that doesn't pay taxes, but they get a tax refund. These are people that don't make enough or low income, right? Real low, like welfare and all that, which are Democratic mindset people, because they always have been conditioned with the handout and government. They love big government, right? They love the fact that they can get a check every January, February here. They go out and do the same old with the money every single time. I'm gonna be good today, but they'll go out and spend and do the same old thing over again. I need a car, every year I need a car or some other stuff, right? And we're like saying, man, this system right now is just totally unfair, man. It really is. So it's crap. John says, just remember, if it's created by EO, right, it can be canceled just as easy. These things need to be enacted by Congress. And I think this is what Trump is going to be doing eventually, because I'm well aware that I know with Trump, he's way ahead of the herd of the Democrats, because again, he's playing 4D chess and they're still playing checkers. Because right now he's been hitting them with all the executive orders and other things to keep them off balance. They don't even know what his next move is. It's like every time you've noticed though, John, every time he comes out with another plan or a move, it knocks them off guard again. They're panicked out. Now that we pretty much going to have people certified in this cabinet, that's another thing. But I hear what you're saying, though. But we got to keep in mind, the IRS was never passed through Congress either. It still isn't. It still isn't. It still isn't passed through Congress. But it's been around since 1913. It still haven't been passed through Congress. And a lot of Americans know this. It's amazing to me that it never been challenged. It never been audited. We know what happened. The president that tried to audit it was Ronald Reagan. We know what happened. You know what I'm saying? So could it be that people that knew that back then, they said, well, if we go and do it, we don't want to end up like Ronald Reagan. But I'm just saying, though, these type of things, though, but it never been passed. They wrote the 16th Amendment in. They weren't paying, they weren't paying taxes prior to that. The IRS is not a legal institution, but for the people, by the people. It's not. We already know this, right? John says Trump is using their game. He is. Plan, make, and use a crisis every day. Yeah. He's been hitting them good, though, man. He got over 200 executive orders already, right? So the stuff with getting rid of the DEI, as we mentioned earlier, that's a big one, as well as with critical race theories, transgender stuff. All that stuff has been neutralized, and the Dems are panicked out of it. So as you know, they're trying to sue. It's got a lawsuit, which they're not going to be successful when it goes to the Supreme Court. I don't think Trump want to run the third term, even though they're trying to do that. But because he's not running again, so he can go in right now and set it up where they would have a hard time undoing what he's laid down and set up. I believe Trump had this plan for a very long time. But John says the Dems are in the the fatal position of sucking their thumb. Yeah, the fetal position, not fatal, fetal position of sucking their thumb. Yeah, exactly. They're in the fetal position of sucking their thumb because they are panicked out. They're scared. They don't know. I mean, this is a president that they cannot anticipate his moves. They don't know what's going on, what he's going to do. The only thing he's been doing now, he has been systematically kicking their leg, kicking one chunk at a time, chopping down the deep state or draining swamps slowly and slowly and slowly. And people are seeing for themselves the first time who these people are. The ones that, I mean, Adam Shifty Schiff is so out there now. People are aware of him. Look at Mike Pompeo and all these other people. They are all out there. Like you said, the emperor's new clothes. Yeah, John said it's only been a week. Yeah, it's only been a week. You have to love it, you have to love it. Whatever party you support or not, you have to love it. Even if I was a moderate or Democrat, I would love it. I would love it equally the same. I mean, because it's common sense when it's being implemented. Trump is setting this up for the people and not with the establishment. Because I know yesterday I kind of talked a little bit about the troops that Trump is sending over there as well. You know what I'm saying? So, which we can talk about that a little bit. He sent over, 1,500 troops over there on the border to secure that border. And then with the military might, that's because he already declared the cartel as being, what did he call them? He called them a terrorist organization. A terrorist organization. They've never been classified as a terrorist organization before. And I want people to understand as to why that is. Why? I mean, every president we had been dealing with the cartel. So let's talk about it. Who is the cartel and who controls the cartel, right? Because it ain't just these people in the cartel that's in Mexico just out of control. No, they're being funded. They're being controlled. They've been given the weaponry. They've been given intel. They're into a lot of things, though. So they're part of the syndicate, straight like that. And not only that, we want to go CIA. That's a very good answer. If you want to guess, that's who's behind it. And people are seeing that right now. So Trump said, you know what? I'm going to send, what are you going to do? I'm going to send the Delta Force. I'm going to send the Rangers, the 75th Ranger Regiment, right? I'm going to deploy the Special Forces, which are the Green Berets, right? What is it? The 10th Mountain, the Mountain Division, them guys. We're talking like some people, man. We're talking about some special military, right? Type people, right? So these are the people that he's going to send in, the 10th Mountain Division, which is really a light division of the United States Army. But they can go in there and get the job done. The Marines, right? These are the people that he have to dispatch. Now, Pentagon is kind of like keeping them hush-hush, whether the 10th Mountain Division have been deployed there. I think they have, and things like that. So we're talking some big boy stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And they're not just down there just to secure just that border, you know what I'm saying? So there's people being flown in, there's heavy machinery coming down, touching down, boots are starting to land down on the ground. We're talking about 50 cal and up. We're talking about hardcore. We're talking about going up against the cartel, you know what I'm saying? Man, but John says we need to talk about that. That specific pop dude. Yeah, the ops dude is right. Okay, full of shit. I know, right? Yeah, John, he really is, though, man. I mean, his guy's talking crazy, man. I made a comment on there, started picking up some traction on there. John says, we invaded Afghanistan with 24 SOCOM operations in 2002 and air support, right? Yeah, because that's going to be the first strike. It's going to be air support, the ballistic missiles and everything like that. But it's no match with the American military in its might today. Yeah, operations. Yeah, no match though, John. No match, right? Yeah, operators. Yeah, operators. Sorry. Yeah, no match. No match with the firepower of the American military. John says 24 people took Afghanistan. Yeah, I can believe that, because Afghanistan, they never had a real chance, even with some of the weaponry that they have had from old, was it Russia back in the days, but up against the advancement and military might of the American military. I mean, you know what I'm saying? These guys here are big boys coming down now, man. We're talking about the 10th Mountain Division and things like that. We talking about Green Berets, Delta Force, special ops type stuff, man. You know, these guys, you know, the Marine Raiders, you know what I'm saying, which is the special force, special operations commands and stuff like that, man. These are highly classified units, man. Focusing on counter-terrorism is what I'm trying to say. You know, we're talking about high value target missions. It's what they specialize in. It's a beautiful thing. John says, watch the Nat Geo Democracy. Okay, Nat Geo. I'm gonna watch that too, man. You've been putting me onto some good stuff there, John. Yeah, man, I'm gonna definitely check that out. I'm gonna check it out as well, man. But yeah, it's just one of these type of things, man. Yeah, man, it's I mean, that guy was on there practically crying, man. I said, is this guy, I don't know what type of branch of the military it was. I know he could be a Marine acting like that. I didn't believe that. I didn't believe it. And I made a comment on it, man. In fact, let me see if I can see. Can I pull that up and read to you guys what I said? What's that guy's name? Cause I just ran it. What's his name? Jake. Was it Jake? What's that guy's name? Jake. What's that guy's name? Jake. Now I'm gonna have to go back into my thing here to find out what that guy's name is. Hold on for a minute. It'd actually be real easy here. Let's see here. YouTube Studio. What's that guy's name, man? Oh man, I think it was Jake something, right? Yeah, Jake. Oh yeah, I got it right here. I think it's a wig. It's the Z. I think the Z is silent if I'm correct. Because I never knew anything about him. And again, I'm not dogging on him. I want to put that out right now. It's just that the guy, he and the dude was in agreement. In fact, I can go ahead and show you better than I can tell you guys. Why don't we just do that? We just go straight to that. We'll just make life a lot more easier. Yeah, we just go ahead and view the video and make it easier. Hold on for one moment. And share this stuff with you guys. So this is what I really wanted to do yesterday, do a real reaction. And I guess I got time to do a reaction to this foolishness. Let me go ahead and pull this up here because, yeah, man, I just wasn't understanding though, guys. John, yeah, you got the last name, dear John. Thank you. Yeah, so this guy here, man, I said to myself, are we talking, this guy is a military dude? Talking like this and acting like this. I'm gonna pull it up though, John. Give me one moment. I'm gonna pull this thing up. And I said, what the? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it, man. I said, man, this guy here talking like this. This is supposed to be Military man? Big dude? I say, man, what the? I'll pull this up here. Share this. Select the window. Where is it at here? All right, let's do the whole window, right? Okay, we'll do that. We'll just do the whole window. We'll share that. Okay, there it is. Okay, this is his channel right here. All right, let's go move it out the way here. All right, so let's go ahead and play it here. Okay, oh, that's me. Hold on for a minute. That's me. I don't want to do a reaction to myself. That'd just be bad, wouldn't it? Got his stuff right here. I just ran across, it came across my feed. Because I don't troll this stuff. It just came off on my feed though. Yeah, this is him, all right. Yeah, that's him. There's the one I want to reference to though. All right, let's go to his actual page here. He's a big boy, man. He's a big guy. Omega 2, what the, you know what I'm saying? He's a big boy. He definitely ain't missing no meals, that's for sure, man. He's a big boy. All right, let me see here. Which is the one I'm looking for here? I mean, just big up in the cartel. They're going to go in there and get their behind slaughtered. They don't know what they up against. It was terrible, John, man. And yeah, I said to myself, what the, he got a whole thing of videos down here. I wonder, is he ex-military himself? I didn't know for sure if this guy was ex-military himself, but let me see if I can find it here. Let's go to the videos. Come on now. Okay. Where is that video here? Right. Man, I never heard of this guy before, man. Now, when you want to find the video, it seems like you can't even find it. Is this right here? Yeah, this is it right here. It's right in front of my face. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go turn off the background music too. I want you guys to hear the whole thing here. Hold on for a minute. Okay.
And you'll thank yourself when it matters most. Featuring
Okay.
Armor's latest Dragon scale design.
All right, let's go ahead and go straight to it.
In America, if we try to take down Walmart, first of all, the American people ain't gonna let us take down Walmart. We need to go buy groceries and cans of spray paint. Okay, but the bigger part of it is part of the institution. You want to know why there's no more Bloods and Crips? You want to know why the gang violence in America has been extremely lessened? It's because the cartels are running every drug market in America and Canada. They're running the whole thing. It's their drug market now. Ain't no more gangs. Gangs couldn't stick together to root out the cartel. I have a couple people that do nefarious stuff for a living. I've known them since I was a young kid. And the direct quote from them, 1995, Seattle, Washington. I am getting out of the game because these guys are... We don't like that kind of stuff, man. You go down to Mexico, I just heard 39 politicians got murdered in the last election cycle. 39 in Mexico. Hey, man, listen, man. If you think a couple A teams and a couple Delta Force squadrons and a couple Dev Group dudes are going to go down there and solve this problem by killing some people, come on, man. El Chapo been in prison for a couple years now. His drug cartel is bigger and better than ever.
You think he's a SEAL, John?
175,000 people now actively work for Mexico's drug smuggling cartel. According to this estimate, the cartel has the ability to recruit more than 350 people a day. That's the machine that U.S. Special Forces would be going up against. Mexico is a sovereign nation. We're not at war with Mexico. So in order to go in there, more than likely, we're going to need permission from them. Let's now talk about titles and authority. Within the military or the Department of Defense and all these different entities, the president has to look at titles and authorities, giving him the ability to use certain forces to go action certain targets. The military, the DOD, we operate under Title 10.
Okay.
The CIA, they operate under Title 50. The National Guard, that's Title 32. So under Title 50, the CIA would be able to employ clandestine operation to gather intelligence, to disrupt
John,
the
you guys can hear it pretty good. You want to make y'all can hear it just
to
fine.
Infiltrate their ranks without the public knowing.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. If we committed our whole armed forces to this problem, we took over Mexico and made it the 51st state, it wouldn't fix the problem. Wouldn't fix it. We would not be able to root it
John
out.
said we
And
weren't.
anybody that wants to argue
cool.
with me, hey man, I don't know if y'all remember August 2001, Afghanistan, 20 years of work. So if you think that America's way is the best way, if you think we can go in there and impose our will on a country that's simply supplying us with Wonder Bread, okay, you in for another thing coming, man. You're in for another thing coming, man. America ain't that bad. America ain't that great. It is the best place in the world to live, but stop thinking that you got the ability to be a damn knight in shining armor and go down there and fix problems with kinetic destruction.
What
Boy, we in for a bad one.
Using Title 50, the CIA can also train local militias and employ them to fight cartel members. But to be able to do that, guys, guess what the CIA needs? It needs permission from the Mexican government, whose fifth largest employer just happens to be the cartel. How do you guys think that's going to pan out? That's Title 50 under the CIA.
Now, Title 50 under the CIA, let's talk about it, okay? Who are they going to train? Who in Mexico is going to stand up to the cartels? No one. The president of Mexico ain't going to stand up to the cartels, okay? No one's going to stand up to them. Let's not forget that 90% of the cartel's bangers are trained by Seventh Group.
Put this on hold for one moment.
If you don't know this, a huge portion of Mexico's special forces.
John, you're right. We dropped democracy all over the world. You're right. And see, the thing about it is, and I said this yesterday, we already know the cartel runs Mexico. This is why the tourism and all that stuff is not the way that it used to be. The president, what's her name over there right now, the Mexican president, we know the cartel controls her too. They threaten people's families. They kidnap their children. It's a lot of stuff that the cartel does. I said this before yesterday. It's a bad thing. Why do we say that Trump? He knows that he has to take the cartel out. That's the only way. We have to go in there. The boys have to go in there. There's no other way around it. John says we can put it right in the window opening. You can put it right in the window. Oh, yeah, okay, hold on for a minute. Okay. All right, that's better. You can see that better now, John? Okay. How's that though, John? I still got to be able to see the comments section though. But okay, this is what I do here. All right, I'll just put it right here for right now and things. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and play this here.
Went over to the cartels a number of years ago
the comments
and have been training people based on our training. How's that going to work out? We don't have some secret sauce. And I'm going to remind you all, a $200 drone will take down a $60 million covert Black Hawk helicopter. You don't believe me? Go over and look at Ukraine. A $200 drone will take out a Delta Force squadron. Oh, no, it won't. We'll jam it, okay? Listen, man, technology's running so fast right now. They have so much money and resources. Oh, and they got SA-7s. If you don't think the cartel has SA-7s, put it in the comments, man. Let me tell you something. These cats got billions and billions of dollars, and you don't.
Yeah, and what's funny about it? We had to pause it there a little bit. What's funny about it is they keep saying what the cartel has. Yeah, the cartel has a lot, but let's talk about who's been funding the cartel all this time. Cartel wouldn't have gotten as powerful that it has been. And this is our boys. This is in-house type stuff, man. And this is what he's not talking about. See, I talk about it, right? It ain't just the cartels, but we know. Well, for right now, this is exactly what we're dealing with here. This guy is a neocon poop, a nincompoop. Yeah, he really is, though, man. You know what I'm saying in regards to it, because you know, people. That's why people were commenting. I'm gonna show you the comments in a minute. We're gonna finish playing this, and then
You don't think they got a couple SA-7s, surface-to-air missiles that'll knock our helicopters down? You know they got thermal. How are we going to show up on site? We're going to land on the X? Well, let me tell you something. Dishkas, 50 cows, they got it all. Go look at the armament of the cartel. This ain't some Rudy Poot. Once again, you know what I'm saying? It ain't Haji in his grass hut out in the Hindu Kush. And they ain't the Iraqis living over there with limited resources, man. These cats are well armed, well prepared, and I would make an argument they probably just as good as we are. They may not shoot quite as well as we do. But if you're shooting down helicopters, you ain't got to worry about all that shooting stuff.
Under Title 10, the military can employ overwhelming firepower to try to dismantle the cartel. They also can train military police, the Mexican government, to essentially go after cartel members. But again, just like Title 50, under Title 10, we still need permission from the Mexican government. Whatever we decide to do, Mexico has to be on board with it. If they're not, then we're essentially invading another country that's right on our border to go do work.
So the Green Berets are professionals at building insurgencies. Let me tell you something, folks. If you don't think the cartel has fully infiltrated all of North America and South America, their insurgency is rooted in generations. And we're going to come in there and we're going to Green Beret them, man. We're going to start an insurgency in Mexico. Come on, man. I'm just being real here. We out here thinking we're going to go down there and affect some change. Not going to happen.
Not a good idea, guys. Like, whatever we decide to do, Mexico has to bless off on. And if they haven't been doing that thus far, what makes you think that they're going to go along with this plan? Again, there's a lot of moving pieces here that we have to take in mind before we go do this. And what's the blowback of not doing it right? What country is currently going through something like this right now? Israel. Israel shares a border with everyone that's trying to fucking destroy them, right? And how is that turning out? Do we want to become Israel?
Hey, Jay, man, you hit it spot on, brother. I want y'all to look at Israel, man. Jay could not have said it better. There's damn near 90 million people in America that have South of Mexico roots. You don't think they've got heavy hitters in the United States? Who do you think is running all these drugs in the United States? Who do you think is selling all these drugs in the United States?
Let me pause that for a minute, man. It's really discouraging, man, just to hear military talk like this. It is really discouraging, man. It really is. Backing this type of stuff, man. This self-defeating type of stuff, man. It's really sad. John says a cartel fighting a sovereign nation with unlimited funds, right? No insurgency. Termination with extreme prejudice. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Excuse me. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. It's that, yeah, man, this is why a lot of people is commenting in this section. Is like, well, who would you read? I mean, let me show you what I said, you know. There I am right here, you know. I had to chime in on this one. I said it's sad to see some of our U.S.-born citizens to think so little about our military. It makes me think that these guys work for the cartel or something, right? We have the best people for the job. You guys should start showing more pride and less about the cartels, right? Now, I got 67 likes on this and 11 replies. It says here, yeah, this dude is a big baby. I'm ashamed someone like that ever worn a uniform. I know it wasn't just me. I'm saying, what the? And then it has down here, it's called not overestimating somebody that don't agree with what we had to say. That's fine. I didn't attack these people, right? I just made my comment. They made this comment off of my comment. Courtney Russell says, my brother and husband just said that. And then we got somebody down here, LOL, that dude's a warrior. Then here it is right here. As one who never served, this is addressed to me. This guy here made a shot towards me. He said, one who never served, I am going to defend those who've seen actual combat. If you guys are saying that this is very serious, we should believe them. The American ignorance is what got us served in Nam, right? And now we ended up 20 years in Afghanistan. Here it is, though. This is a shot right here. I think we watch too many movies. Perhaps we should take more humble approach to these things. Listen, this is what JAC has to say, right? Yeah, this is what he has to say. And then we got some other ones. Here it is right here. To Nam, right? First of all, there were people that was protesting Nam and things like that too. The people that went in there, you know what I'm saying? I think, now, what do you think, John? They were less equipped dealing with guerrilla warfare in its extreme. They knew the territory, the lay of the land. I can't speak on being a military man. I'm not. But yeah, I mean, this is what some of the comments that I'm reading. And then right here from 144th, guess it's supposed to be soldier. A lot of them don't have American lineage. Nobody has American lineage besides Indians. The Big 1090 says, as a Mexican American, I am glad I don't do drugs or drink alcohol. You want to fight against the cartels? Probably the best way is just to stay off drugs. And then Kevin Sullivan says, served in the Marines. I can promise you the cartel are in the world of hurt. Glad to hear Marines say this, right? Then we got Suge Knight. Man, oh boy, is this a real Suge Knight? What the? Suge Knight, what are you doing here? Suge Knight. Suge Knight says, them killer farmers and women are not the same as fighters in the U.S. military. These guys think the cartel is the most powerful group in the world. You talking about the Hajis like they aren't just as ruthless as the cartel. Those are worse. They won't die for their they won't die for their cause. Cartel members don't want to die. Yeah, I believe that. And that's coming from Suge Knight. You guys know Suge Knight used to be the owner of Death Row Records, Dre and Ice Cube, NWA, Eazy. Yeah, this is Suge Knight. That's his picture up there and everything. Damn, Suge Knight chimed in on this. Damn, Suge Knight. Got a lot of replies back. Well, only 41 replies. So here it is right here. I'm trying to see here. Was there, because these some of the ones here. But one guy, he took a shot at me. And that's okay. I'm used to it. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, they take a shot. But what I said was spot on, though. Boy, look at all this. There's a lot of replies to this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, this goes on. I'm not going to read them all, but I just want to show you guys real quick.
United States. Listen, folks, let's just say a Delta squadron goes down, and let's say it goes to Jalisco, Mexico, and it kills 35 cartel members in a house, seizes, I don't know, $100 million, causes a lot of hate and discontent. Is it any secret where Delta operates out of? No. They live at Fort Bragg. Is it any secret that cartel has members in the military? So their intelligence gathering is world class? know. How long will it take the cartel to pinpoint every house that a Delta guy lives in? Maybe 3 or 4 days. The Delta guy is probably a solidly moderate.
And what he's not saying is the CIA, because CIA give those guys intel. And let's go and keep it real. You cut it, and then Trump already is aware of this type of stuff. So I don't agree with what Jake is saying like that. Yeah, if you this is why the CIA director is being removed. What's his name? Pompeo and them. Yeah, this is Trump knows exactly what he's doing. So if it wasn't, and this is one of the reasons, 51 clown agents got their clearances removed and so forth. Trump is already ahead of this, my man. So these guys are going to be blind. If you don't have no intel being intel to you, giving you information coming from the CIA and stuff like that, how are you going to know where these Delta Force people are? The cartel is powerful because of the CIA. It's going to keep it real, man. Keep it 100. These guys won't do it. Why? They won't do it. They won't tell the truth, though, John. It is what it is, man. Anybody and everybody know that. You know what I'm saying? You don't think Trump aren't and not aware of that?
Hard target. But I know this. His 4 kids in elementary school ain't a hard target. His wife that works at the bakery or in the hospital as a nurse, she ain't a hard target.
So Jake, so what do you propose? We just give up? Because this is what you're saying. What are we supposed to do, Jake? This is the problem with Mexico now. They continue doing what they're doing. Even the Mexicans, right? They're being terrorized over there. Trump figured this way. If we take the cartel out, neutralize the threat, right? Then we don't have to worry about illegals keep coming over here to America, right? The drugs and the fentanyl, where you think all that is coming from? Who's manufacturing it, right? Trump have great intel. Trump have Space Force. If you don't know by now, John, he got a higher division of military that that's what I'm saying, though. I'm not gonna call them clowns, but I'm saying he has a Space Force, man. Let's go and keep it real. Trump is way ahead, man. You don't give Trump enough credit, man. That's what I'm saying. He's well aware of this stuff. All the stuff you're saying, he's well aware of it, man. With that president over there, he's well aware of it. Why would he come up with a plan if he think he wasn't going to be able to go into Mexico? I mean, that was the whole point, to neutralize. He says he's going to annihilate them. They already been marked. They've been named for the first time ever as a terrorist organization. Now, Trump got balls of steel, or he can back it up. And I believe Trump can back it up. All right, let's go and continue.
Target. I don't think you guys understand what we're dealing with here. This is like saying, oh, we're going to get rid of the Democratic Party. How the hell are we going to do that, man? Come on. Like, that's what we're talking about here. I wanted to put it in a different context. We're trying to get rid of the Democratic Party. Does anybody think that's possible? Oh, let's just get rid of the Republican Party. We're going to get rid of the Republican Party, and we're going to do it quickly. You see how dumb that sounds? That doesn't even make any sense.
We're comparing apples to oranges. We really are. He's comparing apples to oranges. I don't agree with that either. That's not a good analogy there, man. It's apples and oranges. The Democrat Republican Party, you want to compare that to the cartel? I mean, it's not a good comparison. Sorry. No, it's not a good comparison at all. But let's go ahead and go through it, though.
We want to be at war with Mexico and the cartel. Ask yourself that question. Now, let's look at strategy. If you look at Iraq and Afghanistan, the way we went in and the way we left, are those countries better or are they worse? That was our strategy. We went in, find whoever was in charge, kill them, and in the following year, when somebody else took charge, kill them, and that was it.
Have you heard of turtle traders? They were a group of 14 novice traders who were trained by Wall Street legend Richard Dennis. According to a turtle trader, 2 classes of turtles earned more than $175 million. But that was nearly 4 decades ago. Now,
a lot to say.
Call it whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole strategy. So in 2004, I was working in consulting in the government. I was in the J5 office at the Pentagon, and a guy at my company made the recommendation to look at the polio vaccine and the WHO's plan to eradicate polio and how it was successful. I brought that up, that this is an education problem. If we want to win the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, we got to re-educate the populace, because that's how they beat polio in Africa. They educated everybody about clean water. And then if they had an outbreak, they had a containment team that would fly in, vaccinate people around it. It was not a vaccination program. They did not vaccinate all of Africa. They educated them. This is an education problem, folks. But here's what I'm going to tell you. It ain't our problem. I don't live in Afghanistan. I didn't grow up in Afghanistan. Understand this, for 2,000 years, people have been trying to conquer Afghanistan. No one's been successful. That should have been a hint to us not to fuck with Afghanistan. Do we want to go in there, mop up some dudes for 9/11? Hell yeah. Do we want to go set up camp for 20 years and see it all disappear in 24 hours? No, I don't think that was a good plan.
Are we going to use a similar strategy to fight off the cartel? It's not wise, because if we go into Mexico, hunt down cartel leaders and kill them, guess what? Someone else is going to take their place. We kill them, someone else is going to take their place, guys. Because guess what, man? We did it in Colombia. We did it in Venezuela when we were fighting the freaking narco war down there. And guess what? We still have this problem. So again, we got to make sure we go in with.
Let me stop it right there. The thing about this, he's right about that. But we got somebody, this is Donald Trump we're talking about here, man. Trump is a perfectionist, right? Trump has a lot of intel on this stuff. Trump been planning this stuff for a long time. When Trump put some mission in the fact, well, just like with Iran, right? He pretty much crippled those boys to the point, and all they had to do is finish Iran off. Trump took Iran down in his administration. Trump don't mess around, man. So we ain't dealing with this Rudy Poot stuff of like these other presidents. We ain't talking about Obama. Obama was a pussy. You know, Bush couldn't get the job done. Biden couldn't get the job done. We're talking about Trump, right? So this is the difference here, you know. Trump wants the best of the best military, right? The best training. You know what I'm saying? So this is what it's about here, man. We're dealing with Trump and his administration that's going to be able to get the job done, you know. John says the military aren't trained to police nations. Yeah, I agree with that. And Trump figured he's going to get rid of the threat, totally annihilate the threat, just wipe him off the face of the earth for what he did. You know what I'm saying? So Trump said that according to the specialists, he might be looking at about 6 months, according to what they were saying about it, because he's sending all kind of firepower over there to deal with this threat. It's something that never been done before, though. I'm betting everything on Trump. So far, when you bet on Trump, you always win. Go against Trump, you're gonna lose. I gotta go. He's been on this winning streak so far. Can't say he not making mistakes, but I'm putting it all on Trump, John. I'm putting it all on Trump. John says we have lost the cream of the crop and will take years to rebuild. Yeah, I mean, because we have a major threat down there at that border and things. And then don't leave out, we also have Israel too, United States, Israel, and things like that. But this is something that we can take care of right here, right practically in our back door. We can get it done, man, you know, because I am proud of those boys. You know how I feel about military people like yourself, you know. So yeah, it just chokes me up a little bit with those movies, you know, missing in action. You know, if we got to send Chuck Norris over there, we got to go ahead on and send Rambo over there, you know. I'm just kidding. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I remember watching that movie Delta Force, though. That was with Lou Gossett Jr. Remember Delta Force? Yeah, Delta Force, the movie, Delta Force. Missing in Action. That was the Vietnam one. Rambo. Yep. Yeah, man. Yep. Yeah, man. So that's the thing about it, though, man. We got to send the best of the best over there, man. The elite warriors, the Green Berets, man. You know, the crack commandos jumping out of those planes, though, boots down on the ground, man, with the heavy artillery, you know, the heavy firepower, you know. Yeah, the might of the United States military, man. You know, we are sending the 82nd Airborne, you know, the 10th Mountain Rangers, you know what I'm saying? I mean, the division, I mean, you know, those guys out of New York. But yeah, man, that's what I'm saying though, John, man. You know, I just get all worked up when I start naming this special op, you know, and all. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man, you know. The Army fatigues on, you know. Yeah, if I was a lot younger, John, I was suit up. Oh yeah, man, you know. I have to be specially trained, Joe John, you know. Be one full of freedom seats. They said, yeah, whatever happened to Tony, man? They said, what happened to Tony, man? Yeah, you know, the show must go on. Yeah, man. Yeah, but it's gonna be interesting though, John. It's gonna be interesting, man. Let me see here.
With the right strategy. And on top of that, biggest mistake we made in Iraq and Afghanistan is we didn't respect our enemy. We thought we were just fighting dudes with fucking man jams and flip-flops. Guess what? 20 years later, guess who's laughing? They are. So again, we have.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing. I'm glad he brought that up because he is correct about that, Joe John. I'm not saying he's not, but I believe that was Bush Jr. And remember, they weren't even given a special type of, y'all weren't given a special type of Humvees with the heavy firearm armor. They were giving them cheap stuff that had those boys going out there and slaughter because they were being cheap and things like that. You know, we had poor, yeah, that was actually Bush. Yeah, that was actually Bush after 9/11 and all that, and Saddam, I mean, what's his name? Bin Laden, right? Yeah. I remember that though, man. They weren't given the proper stuff over there, man. It was real. It was terrible how they played those boys over there. It really was. Yep. Our own crooked government. Everybody was crooked then. Yep.
We have to employ the right strategy going into Mexico, or else it's going to be a fucking bloodbath. Staying along the lines of strategy, going into Mexico, you got to keep these factors in mind. 32 million people currently living in the United States are of Mexican descent.
Yep.
Another 62 million has ties to Latin America. What do you guys think the appetite is going to be from the local population when they see on television body parts, bummed out kids, families shot to death because we are down there doing work?
Let's talk about the real elephant in the room. I don't think it's an elephant. I think it's more like a unicorn. The Hispanic population in the United States is going to become the majority in 2042. Look at your watch, look at the calendar, talking about 18 years from now, okay? 18 years from now, the Hispanic culture is going to take over.
John said, did you ever see the video of Delta operator that retook the hotel in Africa and wiped out the terrorists by himself? No, I did not. Is that, you said that's a video, huh? Or is it a movie? Because anything with action like that, where it's shooting and heavy artillery and oh yeah, you know, and so what the man, like they said, bring back the man channel, you know. I'm gonna have to check that one out too, you know. I remember the days with the A-team, you know. Yeah, we need to bring back an A-team, man. We need some special people, you know. Now imagine a squad of them let loose. Yeah. Okay, imagine squad. Yeah, exactly. Imagine squad of them let loose. Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. You know, and I think these guys are basically downplaying the obvious, man, because you know, they comparing this stuff. Okay, it weren't no movie. Okay, it was a video. Okay, that even make it even better though, man. That's better. I ain't be able to see some real live action in there though, you know. Yeah, that's okay. I'll still check it out though. Where I can look at it on YouTube or something. Yep, I'll check it out. Yep. I watch documentaries too, obviously, you know. Yep. Yeah, man. So I appreciate these guys for saying what they can be up against, but yet and still, I hear that they military, and again, I have respect for the military people, and things overall. Some of the comments I may have said, you know, it wasn't intentional, but I just, like I said before, man, it's one of these type of things, man. You're right. I'm not a military guy. Wanted to be, should have, but again, I'm not. But I respect the valor enough for what the men that do, you know, they're going in there protecting the country, taking the oath and things like that, sworn to protect this country's foreign or as well as domestic. And I got great respect for you guys though, John. He retails it, there's no action. He was by himself. Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna have to check that out. A one-man Rambo type of thing though, man. I mean, I know I always kind of joke about that from the movie, though. You got Arnold when he was up against Predator, man. Remember that one, man? Yeah, man. Yeah, something like that. He had to camouflage himself, man, so the Predator wouldn't be able to. Man, the 1984 Predator was the best, John, you know? Yep. Yep. We need somebody like Arnold. Yep. We need somebody like Rambo, John Rambo, you know? You know, we're going to have you to parachute down in enemy territory, you know. But if it takes years or whatever it does to be able to liberate Mexico, and I can understand why President Trump is doing this, because as long as the cartel stays in power, and this is the problem though, Mexico, the United States, Trump is trying to protect the borders and he's trying to eliminate the hostile threats, because this is going to be a problem as well. I hear what they're saying, but right now they fear Trump right now. The cartel is fearing Trump right now because he's cutting off communications with the CIA, FBI, and everything like that. So he's de-weaponizing the federal government already. I'm talking about for, you know, people that's in the surveillance and all this, trying to send intel information to these guys. So if they're blind and they're not getting no more funding and they're just there, then as opposed to getting ops and being told and location, you know, that's what, you know, and that's the difference though, you know. So I think Trump is definitely aware of what he's doing. He also got what's the general's name that's working along with Trump and everything like that. So so you got a brigadier general that knows war strategy. I don't know war strategy like the brigadier general does. He have seen war many of times. So we got to rely on their specialties and all this. These guys are just talking. But like I said, I'm rolling with Trump. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he already know what he has to do. And the people are okay with it. You know, as soon as Mexico be liberated and things like that, this stuff be taken away, Mexico will be a better place. That way we won't have to worry about all these people want to come over to America. You can be able to go there vacation, go to Cabo, Cancun, enjoy yourself, beautiful beaches and resort and so forth. But that's what it's about. This is about liberation, is what Trump is claimed it to be. But yeah, I mean, I still appreciate the guys though for the information. Like to say, it's all internet, nothing personal. I'm going to play it here.
Over. That means they're going to take over the vote. They're going to take over the populace. Their opinion is going to matter the most. Okay. Are we going to somehow fix this in 18 years? No. Are they going to let us fix it? No. Can we fix it? No, it can't be fixed.
And for you to think that the cartel doesn't have a robust IO campaign, then you're mistaken. The freaking Afghan people were able to run theirs efficiently using fucking Nokia phones. We would go to a village, do work. By the time we get back to the fob, we're already shut down for 24 to 48 hours because of SIFCAS. Another thing you got to keep in mind, guys. Again, having been there, done it, seen it, I can see these things happening. We go down there and fuck with Jose and them, and then all they do is they go to Juarez or some other town in Mexico, kidnap a family, and coerce guys in the United States, citizens, law-abiding citizens, to turn towards the U.S. citizens and cause them harm.
Let that sink in. You have 32 million Mexican descents in America, 60 million South Americans in the United States. Kidnapping is one of the cartel's #1 manipulative tactics to get people to do what they want them to do. I don't care how bad a dude you are in America. If they call you up and say, hey, we got grandma and grandpa sitting here in this room, we fixing to chop them up with this machete. We need you to go on down to the local army base and shoot up some people. What do you think is going to happen, man? Understand this. The cartel got control. They got control from Canada all the way down to Chile, the whole continent. You want to put South America, North America in there? They running the whole shit. Okay, they running the whole thing.
I can't deal with it no
Let's stop being stupid.
Yeah, I can't. So what he's really saying, ladies and gentlemen, is let the cartel be. Let them do what they do. As long as, because they're doing this anyway, though, Jake. Whether you know it or not, whether we go in there or not, they are doing this anyway. So here's my thing to you, Jake. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. They're doing it anyway. I mean, you know, yeah, John says this dude's an ass. It's sad to see former military, ex-military talk like that. It's sad. You know, why don't you guys go ahead and join on to the cartel? Because what you're saying is that the cartel has more firepower, more, I mean, basically that's what they're saying. Now, there's another guy, I believe that I follow his channel. He has the opposite of all this type of stuff. He wasn't rah-rahing about this, about the military, and you know, he wasn't mentioning nothing like that. He said the opposite. Let's go ahead and pull him up. Throw a little bit more balance to this stuff, though. Yeah, but other than that, though, let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, this is yeah, man. Yeah, John, this is really sad, though, man. Ooh, man, let me see here. People that here he is right here. David Hooks said, all right, let's go and pull up David Hooks said. All right. All right. Let me see here. Look at that green beret, man. Man, you got to get better. Look at these Delta 4 Airborne. This is the 82nd Airborne. Man, you can't get behind this. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. Hold on for a minute. Let me go here. Delta Force to smash targets under Trump's. Let's go ahead and talk about this one. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Somebody that knows what they're talking about.
You won't believe what we've got in store for you today. Introducing the SIG P365X macro replica, an incredible find that anyone can own without needing a license. Created by a top-notch Chinese manufacturer, this rubber bullet replica is now available for you and at an unbeatable price.
Welcome in, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. We have a fun topic to discuss with Donald Trump back as America's president.
Hold on for a minute. And I follow this guy too. I like this guy. John says the FBI says there are 491 million guns in America. I don't think much kidnapping will happen after the first time. I know that's right, man. I'm saying, what are these guys talking about, John? That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah.
And that is the future of Tier 1 operations, Delta Force operations, now that he is back in the Commander-in-Chief's chair, sitting in the Oval Office. Before we get into all of that, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment with your thoughts. I always love reading your comments. I try to read as many as I can, and they're fascinating. I love the debates that spark up. The more you guys do that, the more this grows, the more we can share stories of American heroes, and you all obviously play a big role in that, just as big of a role as I do, if not even bigger, so thank you very much. I'm recording this. It is January 19th, Sunday, January 19th, one day before President-elect Donald Trump returns and is sworn in as America's 47th president after serving 4 years as America's 45th president. And there's a lot of optimism. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of curiosity of what the future is going to bring. What is it going to be like? What will Trump do differently than what Biden did? Similar in 2016 when he won, people were like, what is he going to do that's different from Obama? And what I want to focus on today is what the future of special operations, specifically Delta Force, might look like with Trump back in the driver's seat, making the decisions. And I will bring up something that Kyle Morgan said during his Sean Ryan interview when I believe he was talking about Obama kind of using that surgical scalpel approach with the special operations world. Instead of large-scale military operations, you get to go in with the scalpel, and I think he said there's that button, and once they found that button, they just kept pressing it. So Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, they had no shortage of work to get after during the Obama administration, and then Trump really did keep up that same template, if you will, when he was sworn in January of 2017, after winning the election in 2016. We saw this play out with Baghdadi, how they killed him in Syria. No big military operation. No, they didn't deploy entire divisions of troops to Syria to get Baghdadi. They flew in the middle of the night with Delta Force and I believe some Army Rangers, took care of business. Same way with Soleimani. They didn't invade Iran to get him. He flew into Baghdad. There was a Delta Force team as well as some other people involved that removed that chess piece from the table. You look at the way they fought ISIS, very surgical, but used air power, fused that with the guys on the ground to eliminate those people from the planet and kind of remove them from the equation. That was really cool to see just from a history standpoint, a historical standpoint. Trump, personally, I think handled the situation the right way of continuing the scalpel approach. We spend a ton of money training these guys, equipping them with the best equipment in the world, giving them the best training, giving them the best support elements, giving them whatever they need at that tier 1 level to do the job. I don't think you're going to really see much change in that. I think they might reach out and smack targets overseas when necessary. I don't think you're going to see any large-scale war over there, would be my guess, because if you look at Trump historically in the 4 years he was there, he chose the scalpel approach. He didn't invade many places. He used surgical strikes, surgical operations to achieve objectives he wanted done. Now, you can agree or disagree with those. You can say that killing Soleimani was smart or dumb. That's up to you, but I'm just going through how he did it. Here's where I think things could get very interesting. 2 points. Point number 1, let's go to the border. It's been indicated and hinted at many times that the United States might designate the drug cartels as terrorist organizations, which would then allow the United States to take extreme measures to combat them. My guess,
almost instant cash flow. This is the newest way to make money from crypto, but nobody's talking about it because they're basically
My guess is what you're first going to see happen, this is almost like a negotiating tactic. The administration is going to tell the Mexican government, if you don't take care of these guys, we're going to designate them this, and then we're going to come in and take care of them for you. That could cause huge problems between the U.S. and Mexico in terms of relations. Still doesn't mean they won't do it. And if they do choose to do it, my guess is, and we've talked about this before when I interviewed a handful of Delta Force operators, my guess is they're going to reach out and go for decapitation strikes against the cartels. Let me be crystal clear here. The Mexican cartels have no ability to stop the U.S. military from bearing down on them. Yes. Are they armed? Do they have intel? Do they have tech like night vision, all that stuff? Yes, of course. You know what they don't have? Apache attack helicopters, stealth drones. They don't have our gear, our tech. So if we make the decision, we know where these guys are. For example, let's say we know where the head of a cartel is, and we want to go in and prove a point, get rid of him. There is not one thing on this planet that is capable of stopping a Delta squadron supported by 100 Army Rangers and air power overhead. There's nothing that is going to be able to stop that. That's not to say that people might not get hurt or killed in action. I'm sure it's obviously very possible. Obviously. And anyone who downplays that or minimizes that is an idiot who should be 100% ignored. But the point is, if that's the path that Trump decides to take, that we're going to combat the cartels, that's how he's going to do it. That is how Trump is going to utilize tier one assets, going in the middle of the night, taking guys out, removing pieces from the chessboard. You don't need massive tanks rolling across the border like it's an invasion. You can stage off aircraft carriers. You can stage off of border areas in Arizona, New Mexico. Now, the counter argument to that is, well, what happens if the cartels decide to then strike internally in the U.S.? It's possible they could do that. But you got to ask yourself, are these people rational actors or not? Because if you believe they're rational, they're not going to do something that is going to send the actual full-blown U.S. military after them. If they come in the U.S. and try that, how do you think that ends for them? It's not going to end well. I can promise you that. So that's how I think you see them handle it on the board. Point number 2. We have a crisis that is slowly building up against China. We're being slow walked into a conflict with them that no one seems to care about whatsoever. They don't even pay attention. China is adamant that they're going to take Taiwan back by force. The window for that is no later, I believe, than 2028. It's currently 2025. Doesn't leave us a lot of time. There's some windows that suggest it could come as soon as 2026, 2027. What role could tier one operators play if China launches a massive invasion or goes after one of our other allies in the region? That's a fascinating question, because that conflict is going to be fought on the oceans and in the air. What you could do, and I don't even know if they would, what you could do is use tier one operators in a assassination level role or a sabotage role. However, when it comes to the air power aspect or sinking ships that are crossing the strait to try to get to Taiwan, we're talking about humans and individuals, and we're talking about a scenario where you're going to have F-35s and F-22s roaring through the air, trying to smoke every Chinese plane they can find. We're talking about submarines that are going to be sinking any ship that gets in the water. I mean, it's going to be brutal. So I don't think that it's not an action movie. Let's just call it what it is. It's not an action movie. My guess, and I don't know, they would be deployed in kind of that direct action, kill element, sabotage element, things of that nature, because that's what they do. You could also see RRC out of the Army do the same thing, because what do? They do recon, and they're amazing at it. And that might give us the ability to reach out secretly, get an idea of what's going on, gather intel, make that intel actionable, and then do something with it. But in terms of, like, they're not going to be blowing up Chinese submarines. I mean, I don't even know how anyone would think that would be the case. It doesn't make sense. To summarize it all up, my theory is, and I don't know this, that the special operations community under Trump will continue to stay very busy, doing a variety of different jobs that they've been doing for more than a decade. When they kind of pivoted to, we're pulling back the traditional military, we're amping up the special operations. And like we saw with Soleimani, Baghdadi, all those guys just getting waxed without any idea it was coming. That's what I think you're going to see. But instead of seeing it in the Middle East, you could see it in Mexico. You really could. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. I'm not sitting here promising you it's going to happen, but it could happen. And it'll be fascinating to see how it all plays out. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear your opinion in the comments. What do you think the future of Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, all that stuff in a new second Trump administration looks like? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like this video and please subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.
Steph, you don't cough anymore. Oh my God, I don't. And I haven't changed anything except for the CMOS. My name is Stephanie Dyer Belkacem. I'm 58 years old and I am a restaurant manager. I was always coughing and it sounded like I had a flu or a cold or something, but in fact, it's allergies. One of my servers said, Stephanie, have you ever tried CMOS? It's really good for you. I'm never sick. Like I'm never sick, ever. He told me what to order. I ordered it and I started it. And he was like, have you noticed anything? And I said, I don't know. I mean, you know, I feel pretty good, but Steph, you don't cough anymore. And I was like, oh my God, I don't. Try it. You have to try it. I think it works.
Oh, no. They're implementing another work platform again.
Don't they have better ways to waste our time?
Great. 12 months onboarding.
All right. So that's mainly it. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Had to take a break for a minute. Sorry about that. All right, let's take a look at it. All right. Had to step away for a little bit. I figured I'd let that play a little bit because I watched it already. But yeah, so let me see here. Let me get caught up here. John says, I think the Chinese war is going to be submarine war. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, the Chinese subs and things like that. Yeah, you know, you fell asleep. No, I was actually had to use the bathroom and stuff, but I'm back now. But yeah, I just went to use the bathroom. I'm still wide awake. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I didn't fall asleep. I saw that commercial was playing. I said, let me go ahead and get back over here, you know. But yeah, I'm up. I am up because I got to work tonight too. I'm gonna be taking off very shortly. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with people and stuff, and therefore we can see what's going on and stuff like that, and you know, go from there. So you heard it from him, you know. So I like this guy here because common sense stuff. Obviously, David is definitely supports Trump. He's a MAGA, I can tell. You know, and things like that. He give you a lot more information about special ops. I don't know if he even served or not. But I still like him though, you know. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Trump got a bead on it, man. And these guys should have a lot more enthusiasm because they did take the oath to protect this country, foreign or domestic. And I just want to reiterate that if they ever run across my channel, you know, it was something that you volunteered to do, you know, because giving it all the way to the cartel like this, they're going to kidnap your family and all this other kind of stuff. You know, freedom doesn't come cheap, gentlemen. Freedom is freedom. People have to fight and live and die for freedom. You know, we're going to give it up to the cartels or we're going to go down fighting. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is. You know, freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what it's about. One thing the cartel better remember. This is what John said. One thing the cartel better remember. Go right ahead, John. Yeah. You know, we got freedom over here. This is why a lot of the Mexicans want to come over here, and because they want to come over for a better life, and I get it. You know, we just want them to come over, just like when anybody else come to this country. We just want them to come to the right pathway, even though we had a government that allowed them over here. So, you know, but John says Israel is the best intelligence service in the world. They sure are. And don't let them guys get involved. Don't let the Israelis get involved. Yeah, John says, and they own us big. You know, they own the U.S. big. Yeah, we intertwine with each other. It is what it is. You know, but I'm not having any problems with Israel. You know, we got problems with the cartel, as you know. You know what I'm saying? So that's the problem. That's where the issue is right there. You know, I would like to see Jake and the other guy be a little bit more enthusiastic about the might of the good old USA military, man. He broke down. This is why this guy right here that we just watched, David Hookstead, you know, he was breaking this stuff down with the Delta Force and all this other type of stuff. You know, these guys, this is what they do. This is what they do, you know. So owned. Yeah, that's what that's what John says. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry, not own, but owe us. Yeah, owe us. Mm-hmm. Not own, but owe us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They owe I know what you're saying now, John. My dyslexia come up sometimes. Yeah, so they owe us. Israel owe us. We protected Israel. We have given Israel so much aid and so much other stuff at the time, built Israel up. So yeah, I agree with you. They owe us big time. Israel know they do, because Israel can not be able to fight all their enemies off just with Israel. You know what I'm saying? We protect each other the way it should be, you know, because there's a lot of Jewish people, Israel, I mean, that's over here in America as well. A lot of them got dual citizenship. So yeah, so they got stake in the game, you know. That's what I'm seeing, though. But going back to this cartel, man. Yep. Yeah, this cartel here, man. And we are gonna win, man. We're gonna win this thing. I'm betting it all, because I know Trump got some plans up his sleeve. The cartel is already shaking in their boots. They never had to deal with a president that ain't kowtow. He's not bowing down. He didn't bow down for the FBI. He didn't bow down to the CIA or the government. So what is that telling? What is that sending a message to the cartel, Jake? It's sending a message to the cartel that they are very concerned. They are very, very afraid, just like in our government, because he knows that Trump knows that all this stuff is intertwined with each other. That's why he's dismantling on the inside. Got a new director. There's going to be more CIA, FBI agents that's going to be fired, and their clearances are going to be revoked, because he knows slowly but surely, you know, that's how you do that. Oh, yeah. Trump is way ahead. Trump, you know what I'm saying? 2025 and beyond, man. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you guys rocking with me, listening to what I have to say today. This is Some Random Guy Speaks. Did another great show earlier today where we talked about the presidents that were, I'm going to call them the tariff presidents. That's what I labeled it in the thumbprint there, the thumbnail. The tariff presidents. The presidents that all supported tariffs. And you may as well add Trump on that list too. So Donald Trump, the 47th president of the United States, he will be added on the list as tariffs as well. Of tariff ran government, right? Without taxes and all this other stuff, you know, and that's where we're going to go eventually. No tax, low tax to no tax. It just takes a little time. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And then before I go as well, we also talked about the IRS versus the ERS. There was a difference between the two. I went over that earlier. You can go back into the live stream and check that out as well. These are for educational purposes only. When I do reactions, there's no, I'm start doing disclaimers. There is no hostility, no malice, no hatred, because we don't know each other. But I will do a reaction here and there on things that I may like or may disagree. But that's okay. You know, they maybe something on my video they may like or not. But all is welcome. Either way, it helps out the algorithms. So other than that, I appreciate you guys. You know, Omega was in earlier and things like that. Oh, Omega, man, I hope things worked out for you, man. Because that's another thing, man. This car repair, man, is not cheap. I mean, I got to get a caliber. I got to get a brake job and stuff. So I know what you're talking about, brother, man. I know what you're talking about that. Car repairs are never fun and things. So I'm going to give a shout out once again to John and Omega. You know what I'm saying? And then we got to talk about 1000 RR. And we're also talking about Billy Sharp, ladies and gentlemen. Billy Sharp, man. Stay sharp with Billy Sharp. Yeah. We're going to also talk about, I ain't heard from Big Kahuna in a long time. Big Kahuna, Wallflower as well. And then my new people that came in though too. Let me see, the name escapes me. Hold on for a minute. What's his name? Oh yeah, I catch you next time, John. But yeah, you guys know who you are. So yeah, so I'm on my way out. I gotta go and make that dollar, you know. Gotta go in there and make that dollar, you know. Gotta go to the Chinese restaurant and make that dollar, you know. 3 chicken wings with the fried rice, you know. What you order? I gotta get my accent down and let them know what you order. You know, I'm trying to tell them I ain't gonna do that. I just say what y'all order, you know. Yeah, 3 chicken wings, the fried rice, and then I gotta get on because I'm gonna be on the cash register, you know, and then egg foo young or shrimp egg foo young, pepper steak, you know, a lo mein, you know. Who eats chop suey? I don't think I know anybody that eats chop suey though. I would never order chop suey, you know. You know what I'm saying? I'm just joking. I'm an Uber driver, not a I don't work at the Chinese restaurant, just joking. And nothing wrong with it. So if you guys work at the Chinese restaurant, it's still a job. Still a job, you know. So other than that, guys, I'm gonna head on out. It was wonderful, John. Once again, Omega. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace with chicken grease, right? Oh boy, here we go. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'm go ahead and shut this on down. Yeah, because we're about to get, yeah. So other than that, though, yeah, John, I appreciate you, man. And things. So yeah, man. So we're gonna go ahead and end it with my favorite song, man. Yeah, this is like standard stock music, but I still love it. Y'all hear that music?